first year, I think it was our first year in the Patriot League. Man, we were so good, and then we just laid an absolute egg in the Patriot League tournament championship game.
How are they doing, the men's team this year? Are you paying any attention?
I pay zero attention, which is terrible. Which is terrible. I'm a terrible alum. But let's take a look.
Big performance in the
4 and 7.
big performance.
at the Cabot Center, we have a Boston-based showdown with 47 years of history. And for the 81st time, the Northeastern Huskies take on the Boston University Terriers as both teams round out their non-conference slates. And we thank you for joining us alongside Alex Vespoli. I'm Joe Weil. Happy holidays to you and hope you have a Merry Christmas. BU has the all-time edge in this series, 41-39, and they are 7-3 this season. But Alex, the Huskies have won 8 of the last 10 meetings between these two teams, and they could use a win today.
Yeah, without a doubt, Northeastern is on a 4-game losing streak, and the offense has really struggled during this skid, only averaging 46 points per game. But they're back home where they're 3-0 this season. And you mentioned it, final non-conference game for both these teams, always an important dress rehearsal before league play.
Let's take a look at the players to watch now. We start on the Northeastern side. Darren Erdwan leading the way once again for Northeastern.
Yeah, she's really the engine for this team when it comes to running the offense. The point guard always has the ball in her hands, and she was a key player when these teams met last season. Very first game in a Northeastern uniform, 24 points. She'll try and match that production today.
When you talk about the Terriers, you have to talk about Caitlin Weimer, the Patriot League preseason player of the year.
Yeah, she got a lot of preseason accolades, and her head coach says she really hasn't let that affect her or get her to her head at all. She's a threat on both sides. Offensively, averaging nearly 18 points a game, almost 10 rebounds per game, but she's also a force defensively. Big in terms of shot blocking, somebody that Northeastern is going to have to be ready for in the paint.
Should be a really fun matchup today here at the Cabot Center. Our sideline reporter, Adam Giardino, had a chance to talk to Northeastern's first-year head coach, Priscilla Edwards-Lloyd, about the matchup.
Coach, last time out, the team committed 17 turnovers in the game against Holy Cross. In the last 5 days, what have you been working on to try to turn that number around?
Yeah, we've just been focused on being more patient. We want to get the ball inside. We want to do some different things, but, just not being so caught up on making it happen on the first play. So we spent the last couple days working on that.
Heading into conference play, and we are right on the cusp of it, Jemima Motema, what are you looking for her to kind of take that offensive game back to the next level?
Yeah, she just has to take a deep breath. I've been challenging her to be, more active and aggressive defensively, in hopes that can get her some easy baskets early. So, she's someone who's a great player. She's going to be able to bounce back. She just has to take her time and be confident in the shots she's taking.
Coach, thank you so much. Good luck today.
Thank you.
All right, we'll be back. We've got starting lineups and tip-off next on Nesson.
This is where everything starts. It's a place of new beginnings, new opportunities, and a new identity. We are the Coastal Athletic Association, and from the beaches to the city streets, we are united to succeed at an elite level, in competition, in our communities, in our lives. This is the tide that lifts us, the fire that burns inside all of us. This is our moment, our new chapter. We are the CAA, and we are united in excellence.
We welcome you back to the Cabot Center as the Huskies and Terriers get set to match up here in Boston, Massachusetts. Again, alongside Alex Vespoli and Adam Giardino, I'm Joe Wiles. But take a look at the season stats for both of these teams. And for the Huskies on their side, Alex, those numbers, the points per game, that's come down. Defensive points allowed, that's come up over this last 4-game stretch. So as we talked about, this is a golden opportunity for them to get back on the winning track and get those numbers in the direction they want to.
Yeah, CPU shooting at about 45%. It was not long ago when Northeastern was shooting right around there as a team, but the 4-game road trip where they lost all 4 games, offensively those numbers took quite a hit. As we mentioned, they play better here at home, and you figure a rivalry game, it's going to bring out the best in both of these teams.
And for the Terriers, that 3-point field goal percentage, that's best in the Patriot League right now. Last year, they were among the best teams in the nation from shooting it from 3-point distance. Let's take a look at the starting lineups now, and for the Huskies, they're rolling out the lineup that they did last time out against Holy Cross, which was a 65-41 loss against the Crusaders. And it's Darren Erdwan leading the way once again for the Huskies. Points per game, assists per game, also one of the top players in rebounds per game as well, but she'll be on the court alongside Orlai Kiefer, who played 39 minutes against Holy Cross, Maddie Visa, Jemima Motema, and Deja Bristol.
Yeah, Orlai Kiefer, the Wayland, Massachusetts native, coming off a season-high 9 points and also a career-high 3 blocks against Holy Cross.
As for the Terriers, they're rolling out the same lineup that they did against Division III Emmanuel last time out. They won 80-47 in that contest. And Alex Giannaros, she is the floor general for this team, second on the team in points per game, but the team leader in assists per game. And Caitlin Weimer, who we highlighted in the open, she's the one that leads the way for this team offensively at 17.8 points per game. Those two players, Giannaros and Weimer, account for roughly 50% of the Terriers scoring. BU wins the tip. We're underway. Our 3 officials today, Fatu Sissoko Stevens, Heather Brown, and Ashley Rivera. Giannaros has it top of the arc. Passes it to Anastasia Semenova, coming off a big game. Sophie Benaventine's 3 is short. Giannaros tracks down the ball.
And Benaventine, normally looking to pass, but when you're left that open, you got to take the shot. Unfortunately for the Terriers, they get the offensive rebound.
Nice job by Kiefer to get her hands on that pass. Comes back out to the perimeter. Shot clock rolling down. It's at 3. Cross-court pass. Giannaros gets the shot off. It does not go. Kiefer battles for the rebound, but it gets batted into the hands of Erdogan.
Good battle inside between Weimer and Kiefer. That's a matchup to keep an eye on both sides. And certainly for Northeastern, head coach Priscilla Edwards-Lloyd said we can't leave just one person on a player the caliber of Weimer for the entire day.
Terriers starting off in zone. That free throw jumper does not go from Kiefer. And it's Benaventine who brings it into the front court. Terriers led by third-year head coach Melissa Graves. And for the Huskies, their first-year head coach Priscilla Edwards-Lloyd getting her first time matching up against the Terriers in her career.
It's a few times Northeastern's had good hands defensively, getting deflections and preventing those passes from getting inside.
Another free throw jumper for the Huskies. Bristol cannot knock that one down. It hits the heel. Rebound brought down by Audrey Erickson. Both these teams were at the top of their respective conferences in the regular season a year ago. The BU outright regular season champs in the Patriot League. Under the basket, nice move by Semenova. First 2 points of the game come from the Russia native.
Anastasia Semenova has been really consistent, not in just games, but also in practices. And that consistency really bodes well for the Terriers.
Yeah, they have a practice player of the day, that being the Terriers, and she won it 4 times in a row, and it's because of that she had a chance to start against Emmanuel, in which she scored 16 points on 8 of 10 shooting, and her production, it's had a significant uptick in the last couple games with the extra playing time that she's gotten. Visa in the corner, her 3 ball, that's good! Maddie Visa from downtown, and the Huskies take the lead.
Great movement without the basketball by Visa to get to that spot, was able to work around screens, get herself open. That's something that Northeastern's coaches have been working with her to get her in good positions, because she has a really strong shot that opponents are keying in on when she's around the arc.
Giannaros on the other end, stops in the paint, floats it up. Shot doesn't go, batted up in the air, and it's a fight for the ball between Erdogan and Giannaros. It's going to stay Terriers basketball. That's a big 3 for Maddie Visa. She started the season so hot from downtown. First 5 games, 17 for 28 from 3, but 0 for 15 in her last 3 games from downtown. Nice to see that shot fall for her.
Well, and the last time she was playing in her home court, she was 7 of 11 from beyond the arc. She tied her own Northeastern record for threes made in a game in a contest against Wagner, so she's feeling very comfortable back here at the Cabot Center.
And she set the Northeastern record in a single season for three-point field goal percentage in her freshman campaign, shooting at 44%. Giannaros trying to save it from being a backcourt violation. She does. And the Terriers with another extra possession. They've been able to create second chances early on in this one. Here's Weimer, left-hand hook, way too strong. Last touched off of, they're going to say Kiefer. Semenova also went for it, but it stays Terriers basketball.
Only 5 seconds to shoot here. Northeastern's making things very tough for BU to get those post entries here early in this game. Something that they knew needed to be a focus with Weimer.
Semenova under the basket, guarded by Bristol. Right-hand hook doesn't go, but another offensive rebound. This one for Weimer, but the Huskies generate a takeaway. Outlet pass from Erdogan to Motema, who lays it in. Huskies lead 5-2.
That's just brilliant in transition. Motema ran up ahead. Erdwan saw her there, led the pass out. Giannaros couldn't keep up in an easy 2 for Northeastern, but it all starts with the great defense.
Weimer wide open, down low, lays it in. So a nice answer for the Terriers. We're now 2 of 8 from the floor. They have 5 offensive rebounds, but the Huskies have played really strong defensively. They beat the press this time. Bristol drives and is fouled, and Deja Bristol now will head to the line for 2 shots.
And, for Weimer picking up that first foul, you look at the strengths of these teams, and for Northeastern, they've got a lot of post presence, even though they don't have necessarily the star player the way that Boston University does. We take a look at that nice transition, too, by Motema. They do have bodies who can be presences down low with Deja Bristol, Holly Iduwu, and then Asha Parker, if she plays today. She was questionable coming in. It looked like maybe she might be available off the bench.
It is great to see for the Huskies. Jalen Batts out on the court. She's been dealing with a shoulder injury. So Bristol at the line for 2. She's 13 for 27 from the charity stripe this year. And first of 2, up and in. Bristol, a very productive season last year for Northeastern. The CAA 6th Player of the Year last year. Transfer from Virginia, so she didn't start with this Northeastern program, but since she's been here in Boston, she has delivered for the Huskies, both as a reserve and now as a starter.
Yeah, shot 61% off the bench, 8 points, 5 rebounds per game. Ava Gormley has come on here for BU, first sub off the bench for the Terriers.
Gormley, a Quincy, Massachusetts native. There's Kelsey Mingo, and an armbar called against the Huskies. The foul is going to go against Darren Erdwan, her first personal, first team foul for the Huskies, as Asha Parker comes into the game. So the Huskies get back 2 players that they desperately needed in Asha Parker and Jalen Batts. Both of those players battling injuries, but seeing some floor time today.
It's really important for both of those players to get some playing time before league play starts.
Nice play there by the big in Weimer, who's doing it once again. 4 points here for the Terriers as we're tied at 6 here in the first quarter. Batts finds Parker. Up top to Erdwan. And she's stripped. Was looking to attempt a shot in the paint, instead stripped from behind. And here come the Terriers with a chance to take a lead.
BU's been pretty good defensively, from the get-go. Offensively, they've shown a ton of growth since the summer.
Semenova's 3-pointer. That hits the front of the rim. It's brought down by Motema.
One of the smallest players on the court. Motema's a really strong rebounder for a guard. Portland, Maine native.
Motema, second-team preseason player in the CAA, as Erdwan knocks down the baseline jumper. She was on the first team in the preseason and an all-CAA player last year on the first team for the Huskies, who retake the lead. Gormley using the screen there from Semenova. Bounces it out to Giannaros, the NCAA leader last year in 3-point field goal percentage.
It's amazing, over 50% from 3. And, BU's getting some of these looks in tight. Not all of them are going down. Northeastern doing just enough to bother them. Keep it competitive down low.
Erdwan open for 3. She buries it. Darren Erdwan from downtown, and the Huskies lead by 5.
That's excellent ball movement for BU. They've got to stay closer to Erdwan and not leave, players like her and Visa as open as they've been on their 3-point tries.
Huskies up by 5 here on the Terriers. Here's Weimer, out to Gormley. Northeastern's played great defense to start this game. BU just 3 for 11 shooting to start this contest. Here's Mingo on the attack, flips it up and in. Nice play there by Kelsey Mingo, the Boca Raton, Florida native, and a senior guard on this Terriers team.
Coming off a 7-point game and a win against Division III Emmanuel College.
Kiefer looking to answer. Jumper in the paint doesn't go, but an offensive rebound for the Huskies, and it's back out to Erdwan. Erdwan attacks, floats it up, shot short, batted out to the perimeter. And Giannaros falls to the ground, is able to get the ball and pass it to Gormley.
Did it quickly to avoid the travel, too.
But a takeaway for Northeastern. It got tipped on a pass inside the interior. Here's Motema on the baseline. Back out Erdogan. Three-pointer on the way. Bottom. Timeout, Boston University. Darren Erdogan starting to light it up from downtown. 2 3-pointers. She's 3 of 5 shooting overall, and she's got 8 points. Huskies lead 14-8 with 2:39 remaining here in the first quarter from the Cabot Center.
CAA champions are built by commitment, dedication, and courage. CAA champions live on the court, on the pitch, on the track, on the field, and in the pool. CAA champions live on FloSports.
As I've watched Alex, you can tell looking at him that he has that focus, that dedication, that expectation of being a success.
I'm always proud to put that jersey on. I'm honestly honored to represent my country.
That's our culture, is to have the uncomfortable conversations and be comfortable in the uncomfortable.
I think it was the best day of my life. I've never really won anything like that before. I've never thrown my gloves on the ice like that.
Like, no doubt in my mind, she is so strong and nothing was going to stop her.
When Rafael Devers got over to third, it was kind of just awesome. I've been watching him for years now, and he's one of my favorite players.
I'm sure there was a day Kat thought, I'm never going to be able to play soccer again.
For me, this has just been a really good fit. My family is from this area. My wife's family is from this area. And Northeastern's never given me a reason why I would look anywhere else.
Huskies lead 14-8 with 2:39 remaining here in the first quarter, and Darren Erdogan picking up right where she left off in her last meeting against the Terriers. It was actually her debut at Northeastern after transferring in from Arizona, and she helped Northeastern beat Boston University 66-65 at Case Gymnasium on November 7th of last year.
Yeah, as we mentioned, this series has been great as far as two local programs, 81st meeting. Both teams, this is their most common opponent. Northeastern's had the better run of play lately, but for BU, they've got to have flashbacks to that game where Erdogan across town lit things up, and she's doing the same here in the first part of this game. Got to play a little bit tighter defense on her and also find a way to get things going offensively. Northeastern's played really strong defense here early on, and now a turnover on the double dribble.
So another turnover for the Terriers. That's their 4th of the game so far, and then shooting-wise, they're just 4 of 12 to start. So Northeastern's done an incredible job here against the Terriers. And Alex, when we talked to Northeastern head coach Priscilla Edwards-Lloyd as Jalen Batts knocks down that jumper, one thing she said about guarding Caitlin Weimer, who's the Patriot League preseason player of the year, is that it's going to be a team effort to try to defend her, and the team has really risen to the challenge here against one of the best players in the Patriot League.
Yeah, right now they've got Deja Bristol on her. Earlier we saw Orelai Kiefer. You're going to have to cover her in waves because she's a dominant player who eventually is going to get hers, but another turnover by the Terriers. Again, this is a team with so many young and new pieces. They had 8 new players to the team this year and 5 returners. So while it's gotten off to a good start their first 10 games, they're 7-3. There's still some rough edges to iron out here.
Maddie Visa has it from beyond the arc. She has a 3-pointer today. Down low to Bristol. Good defense from Weimer, but what a play there by Deja Bristol. Misses the first shot, gets it back, puts it up and in, takes the contact, and now heads to the line for a 3-point chance.
And perhaps just as importantly, this is the second foul on Weimer, so she picks up 2 fouls in the first 8+ minutes. Great second effort by Deja Bristol. You saw Weimer thought she was in good position, trying to stand upright. It wasn't a ton of contact there, but it's a call that usually gets made. Now the question is, when do we see Weimer again, and for how long in this opening half?
And one is good from Bristol, so it's 19-8 Northeastern. They are on a 13-2 run over the last 3 minutes here against Boston University. And they have jumped down to an early lead against their in-city rival, 81st all-time meeting. And those 2 fouls against Weimar are huge. She's not only the Patriot League preseason player of the year, but also the preseason defensive player of the year as well. Giannaros can't finish. Northeastern's out and running. Here see Khalees into the game for the Huskies, a talented freshman for Northeastern. Erdwan has it left wing. Uses the screen from Bristol, guarded by Giannaros. Attacks, kicks it out. Khalees, step back two. Bottom!
Boy, you love the no-fear approach there from Khalees, the freshman here on Northeastern, one of just 2 first-year players on the Huskies.
Pass down low to Semenova, who lays it in. Terriers may have gotten away with one there. Could have been another turnover. Instead, it leads to 2 points.
Good response, though, but BU needs a few more of those. Not off to a good start here.
Bristol down low, fouled again. This time it's Semenova who picks up the personal foul.
You see Northeastern with the 2 bigs out there. They've got Bristol and Orlai Kiefer. They do it in different ways. Kiefer more the long type, and here you've got Bristol who can really use a good array of low post moves, the power as well, good center of gravity. This time she is able to get the sophomore up in the air, take advantage, and she's been shooting the ball better at the free throw line. I know the numbers aren't great, but she has been shooting the ball much better there and making those fouls pay off and making the opponents pay when she puts them into foul trouble by hitting these freebies.
And Alex, that's exactly been the case today with that made shot. Now 4 of 5 from the free throw line. And the Huskies now up 23-10.
She had a game against Syracuse where she was 6 for 6 from the free throw line and upped her free throw percentage from 33% close to 50, and now a foul offensively on BU, and they're just having a really hard time getting into their offensive sets without turning it over.
And this one goes against Giannaros. So how about the job Northeastern's done against Giannaros and Weimar, the 2 top players for Boston University? They are a combined 2 for 7 from the floor, and then on top of that, both players have picked up fouls. Weimar with 2, Giannaros with 1. Erdwan's shot makes it a 15-point lead for the Huskies through 1 quarter of action. Well, what a start for Northeastern, on top by 15 over the Terriers. 25-10, the score here at the Cabot Center. The Huskies, who have won 8 of the last 10 meetings over the Terriers, up big on their in-city rival. We'll have second quarter action coming up next here on Essen.
Check 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Northeastern's up 25-10. Perfect. Debatable if I'm looking good. Okay. Perfect. Northeastern with a 25-10 lead after 1 quarter of play. Adam Giardino with you here on Huntington Ave. Injuries have been part of the story for Northeastern this season. We talked about that in the first quarter. And when you're working with a roster that only goes 12 deep, a couple of injuries, and suddenly your practices have to look a whole lot differently. So enter coaches that lace them up, and even some local alumni. Shannon Todd played professionally in Portugal and France following her graduation in 2019. She's back in Boston doing data security for Harvard. Ayanna Dublin graduated in 2021. She's coaching local girls basketball while working for the tech industry in and around Boston as well. So those two came in to chip in with a couple of warm bodies in practice over the last few weeks. This Northeastern program, not just a team, they're a program, and their alumni are trying to help turn some lemons into lemonade.
Adam, thank you so much, and that's such a cool part of the story in terms of what Northeastern's had to overcome in terms of injuries. And I say cool part of the story because they've overcome it now with Jalen Batts and Asha Parker now playing again despite them dealing with injuries, and they've been able to use that alumni base to help them out in the interim, and look what they've done on the court today.
Yeah, and players that Priscilla Edwards-Lloyd didn't coach. You know, she's only in her first year getting to know the program. Great to see that support, and she loves to see Deja Bristol take over. 8 first-half points, and, you know, Northeastern only scored 22 points in the first half against Holy Cross on Sunday, 25 in the first quarter today, on pace for 100.
Offensive foul. It goes against Semenova. And Northeastern's defensive start to this game has just been remarkable against what can be a very potent BU offense.
It looks like they're going to get Erickson for this one, and that's important. That's only her first. It would have been Semenova's second. And with Weimer on the bench with 2 fouls, can't afford to have your other big missing extended time. That would really put BU in a tough spot. But right now the Terriers, they get a little bit more experience out there on the floor with Sophie Benaventine. They really like the way that she's able to push the pace, and so she'll be handling the point guard duties here. Didn't see a lot of the floor, it felt like, in that first quarter.
Giannaros attacks, finishes, and gets fouled in the process. Her first bucket of the afternoon, and Alex Giannaros will head to the line for a 3-point play opportunity.
Yeah, and she's the one that BU really needs to get going. Giannaros last year against Northeastern opened the season with 23 points, earned 9 of those at the free throw line, and here she goes to the free throw line for the first time today after picking up her first bucket.
And one up and in for Giannaros, who came into today shooting a little over 73% from the free throw line. After that make now 23 of 31. So it's a 14-point game. Motema to Erdwan. BU in the zone right now defensively. Motema, pull-up jumper, bottom. Jemima Motema knocks it down, and it's a 16-point game again.
Get the feeling like Motema is pretty comfortable working against a zone because she trusts her mid-range game, doesn't have to go to the basket, doesn't have to worry about fighting through levels of defense. If she just finds a soft spot, she can make the shot and travel on Mingo.
Another turnover for the Terriers. That's their 8th of the game. You contrast that with the Huskies, who have played a very clean game on the offensive end. No turnovers for Northeastern so far today, and they're shooting 11 of 19 from the floor.
Both these teams will give the ball away. Part of that, BU's inexperience, and part of it, just the way that these teams play with a high tempo.
Motema, jump stop in the paint, shots off, but she's fouled. So Jemima Motema will now head to the line for 2 shots where she can stroke it well from the charity stripe.
That wasn't how head coach Priscilla Edwards-Lloyd wanted that possession to go. I think she wanted Erdwan to take that ball maybe closer to the basket. You see the reach-in foul there coming on the shot. But giving it up, sometimes you want your alpha to take over possession, and even though good option in Motema, you know, there's good opportunities for her to learn. There's a piece in the Boston Globe. Erdwan was quoted as, you know, really connecting with her head coach because they both played the same position. Priscilla Edwards-Lloyd at St. Bonaventure was a point guard.
Second free throw does not go. It gets batted out to the arc. Bristol out to Erdwan. Finds Motema, shot clock at 10. Motema attacks, in and out on the floater. And Weimer with the defensive rebound there, so it stays a 17-point game. That's tied for the largest lead of the game. Benaventine finds some space and can't knock down the jumper. Semenova tries to clean it up. Her second chance shot doesn't go. Weimer is fouled though. She gets it to go off the window and now heads to the free throw line.
And you see Weimer, very little expression on her face, whether things are going her way or not. She's in there with 2 fouls, but that steady Eddie, cool, calm presence is really characteristic of her on the floor, and this is just tremendous skill. You got Bristol all over her, still able to get it to the basket, gets the roll, and now gets the 3-point play.
Inés Monteagudo comes into the game for BU, and one is good from Weimer. So Weimer's got 7 on 3 of 5 shooting to go along with 4 rebounds, but 2 personal fouls. Visa a triple, that's off, and a foul under the basket. It's going to go against Bristol.
So that's 2 in a row on Bristol. You saw a little bit too aggressive on the push there. And so she's going to have to come out. Asha Parker, first game back after missing with an injury, lower leg injury. It's a good look here for Visa, but just doesn't go in. You can see that push with the left arm there, and Weimer they both might have taken a little bit something to the face.
So Bristol out of the game, Parker in. Mingo attacking on Motema, instead sends it out to the perimeter. Semenova to Benaventine. Now Weimer, wide open is Monteagudo, who knocks down the triple.
Well, she's not somebody who sees a ton of playing time, but getting a little bit more with injury here, and going to travel on Northeastern, and BU's doing exactly what it needs to do to work itself back into this game. Remember, not long ago it was 27-10. BU's gone on a 9-3 run here. Terriers getting a couple of and-one opportunities, and I've really liked Melissa Graves, has been very calm over there on the sideline, has basically said, let's just get back little by little here. We're not going to get it all back at once. I think if she feels like they can get this game to maybe a 5 or 7 point game by halftime, then mission accomplished, and you can go out and try and take control in the second half.
And there is Melissa Graves, who's in her 3rd season at the helm. She played collegiately at Notre Dame under the legendary head coach Muffin McGraw. But she's done great work with the Terriers. 48-26 overall record, 29 Patriot League wins over the last 2 seasons. That's the most in all the Patriot League. And then, of course, last year led BU to their first ever Patriot League regular season title. They fell in the Patriot League tournament title game to Holy Cross as Bats knocks down the baseline jumper.
Well, that is Bats' bread and butter, right around 10-15 feet. Falling away, she's got great length, releases it at the high point so she doesn't often get blocked, and she's very comfortable taking that shot. And look at the takeaway.
What a takeaway by Bats. Huskies out and running, bounce pass to Erdwan, who cannot finish, but she gets the offensive rebound and resets the offense.
But that's the length of Weimer, who was bothering Erdwan on the shot attempt.
Bats pull up from the free throw line, a little short.
And that time she didn't need to fade away. I think she's so accustomed to it. She had nobody in her face. She could have just gone right at the basket.
Bats is an absolute difference maker, though, for the Huskies. A transfer from Boston College. Now playing against the Terriers. Mingo on the drive. Stopped at the right block, out to Semenova. Here's Benaventine. And a foul on the floor. It's going to go against Northeastern. And it's Asha Parker who picks up the foul. That's her first personal. And 14th foul for the Huskies. So one away from putting BU in the bonus. Mingo and Semenova come out. Erickson and Giannaros come in for the Terriers. Giannaros triggers it into Erickson. The Terriers trying to get back into this game. Here's Weimer on the right block. She finishes. Great move there by Caitlin Weimer, and it's an 11-point game.
She's quick into her movements and decisive there. She knew exactly how she was going to attack the basket before she got that ball in her hands, which allowed her to pull it off, and she's done that so many times. She's so smooth.
Visa wide open for three. Bottom. Maddie Visa's second three-pointer of the game, and it's a 14-point lead now for Northeastern.
Visa had been just 2 for her last 26 from three-point range, 2 for 3 today.
Giannaro's fouled under the basket, so 2 shots coming to Alex Giannaros, the Brockton, Massachusetts native. And with 4:41 remaining here in the second quarter, we'll take a break. BU got back into it, but the Huskies up the lead to 14. 35-21, Northeastern on top over Boston University at the Cabot Center. Well, Boston University started to have a little bit of an answer to the Huskies in the second quarter, but Maddie Visa has been able to help the Huskies create more distance again. That last three-pointer upping the lead to 14, where it stands right now, 35-21. Northeastern on top over BU with 4:41 remaining. And this performance, Alex, a great sign for the Huskies moving forward. The fact that Maddie Visa has once again refound her shot from three-point land.
Yeah, we mentioned how she had been struggling from three over the road trip and getting more attention because of how she shot the ball, especially in that Wagner game when she was 7 for 11 from downtown. She has to be a little bit more patient, working around screens, getting herself open, and then, you know, what everybody says, when you're a shooter and you're in a bit of a slump, you've got to keep shooting and forget about the misses. That's the only way to dig yourself out of it. And I think that it's just also she's very comfortable shooting in this gym.
All right, before we headed to the media timeout, Yursi Khalees fouled Alex Giannaros. Giannaros 1 of 2 from the free throw line there as Hallie Duwu checks into the game for the first time for the Huskies. Here's the freshman Khalees to Erdwan. Wants a screen from Kiefer, she gets it. It's poked away from her momentarily by Erickson. Now Khalees has it, shot clock at 10. Here's Visa, another triple. Off the backboard and then the rim. It doesn't go. Edu had it for a moment, then lost it. And it's Erickson who comes away with the basketball. Weimer down low. Fouled. Count it, +1.
Well, early on, Northeastern was doing a terrific job of denying the entry passes to Weimer, or at least getting hands on the passes, tipping them, getting them out of rhythm. But BU's done a much better job of finding ways to get the ball to number 11. And then when Weimer gets it, you know that she's got a bevy of moves she can go to either draw contact or get an easy bucket. Another three-point play here, and there have been a few of these for BU in this quarter. And that's why they've been able to trim this at times close to single digits, right now down by 10.
And Alex, she's up to 12 points now. When we talked to Coach Graves about Weimer, she talked about how she's a quiet leader on this team. As we have a foul under the basket, so Iduwu will head to the line for two. And you know, it was interesting talking to her about what makes Weimer so great. And one thing that she said is she doesn't get too high or too low. And Coach Graves also said she has never come to practice and had a bad practice. So she sets the tone for this team, and you can see it out on the floor.
You know, it's funny, her younger teammates in a little bit awe of her. They idolize her. And she said even just getting a pat on the back or a high five or a good job from Weimer, it does so much to lift their confidence and say, okay, well, if she's doing this, if she's giving me an attaboy or an attagirl, then I've got to have some confidence that I'm doing the right thing.
And if BU reaches the heights it did last year, she's going to be a big reason why. Both free throws good for Iduwu. And they transfer from Toledo. Weimer also a transfer. She came from Marist, had a great freshman campaign, and then came over to the Terriers. Here's Giannaros, another stalwart on this Terriers club. That was picked second in the preseason poll in the Patriot League. Despite losing a ton of talent, Giannaros, step back jumper. That's off. Who is the last touched off? They're going to say the Huskies.
By the way, on those free throws for Iduwu, the foul was called on Erickson and not Weimer. It was close. She was kind of sandwiched between the two. So that's 2 on Erickson, 2 on Weimer. And Weimer's played really well since being reinserted into the game with those 2 fouls.
Meanwhile, BU is in the bonus, and another foul against the Huskies, and once again, it's Weimer making something happen on the offensive end, and it goes against Bristol, so now that's 3 personal fouls against Asia Bristol.
And obviously,
no, they give it
critical piece.
They give it to Bats.
Okay, they've taken that away. Northeastern will take that exchange, just the first on Jalen Bats, but still, I think they've got to feel like, you know, they're sending BU to the free throw line a little bit too often, allowing them to get points with the clock stopped here. And although Terriers haven't turned this into a 2-possession game at some point, it's still good job of methodically chiseling into the deficit by BU by being able to earn trips to the free throw line and potentially for later in the game get Northeastern into foul trouble.
Weimer now 4 of 4 from the free throw line, so it's a 10-point game. Here's Bats. Puts it on the deck. Attacks, turnaround jumper, too strong. Bristol the offensive rebound. Putback is up and in, and she's fired up coming over to the other end.
She just has such soft touch there and a quick release. She's only 6'1", not the tallest player to be manning that position, but she uses the size she has expertly.
Monteagudo knocks down another three-pointer. She's had a strong game off the bench. 2 threes, and we're down to a 9-point game.
New career high for Monteagudo Pardo. 6 points.
Here's Erdogan. Shovels it out to the perimeter. Now fed down low. Here's Iduwu. Attacking. Puts it up and in.
And because of the fouls, Weimer couldn't be as aggressive with the help defense. Normally, she'd be in there trying to fight for the block, but she kind of let her go and said, okay, Anastasia, you're going to have to take this one-on-one, and Iduwu beat her.
Monteagudo attacking. Left-hand hook. She's fouled. So the freshman from Spain making things happen. Coming off a 5-point performance against Emmanuel. She hasn't played a ton this year, just averaging shy of 6 minutes per game. But she's at the line for 2, and she has helped the Terriers stay in it.
Yeah, really good aggressiveness by BU to earn these trips at the free throw line. You know, here in this quarter, this will end up being attempts number 8 and 9. Northeastern's only taken 4 from the free throw line here in the second quarter. And, you know, that was, not a good foul on Northeastern's part. Monte Agudo Pardo was kind of at a tough angle. Didn't look like it was a great angle for her to be able to really get a score off based on where she was going, and got sandwiched between a couple of defenders.
Monte Agudo knocks down the free throws, so it's back down to a 9-point game. Under 2 minutes remaining here in the first half. The Huskies jumped out to a big lead. Their largest lead of the game in this one, 19 points, but the Terriers have cut it down to a 9-point deficit. Yaduru just top of the perimeter looking to hand it off to somebody, gives it to Batts. Shot clock at 5, Batts in the paint. Could not connect on a pass with Bristol. So a turnover for Northeastern and a nice defensive sequence there for the Terriers.
And a chance for BU to work this down to what we were talking about, around a 7-point game or so. We thought that might be a target there for head coach Melissa Graves. So still stay with the Terriers. Good backcourt pressure by Kelly's.
I beg your pardon, the largest lead of the game, 17 points. It was when it was 30-13. Last time it was 17 points. But it's down to 9. Semenova, pull-up jumper, and she drains it. 7-point game.
Northeastern without Erdwan and Maddie Visa.
As Idua was able to circle that one home, 9-point game again.
She didn't play in 2 of the games on the road against New Hampshire and Syracuse. But a season high already today with 6 points for Holly Idua.
Semenova wide open for 3. She knocks it down. 6-point game as Semenova's come alive late here in the second quarter.
Coming off a career high 16 against Emmanuel her last time out there. And Boston University's gone on quite the charge at the end of the second quarter to whittle this down to single digits.
Kelly strives, gives it off to Bristol, who lays it in. Great play there by the freshman to feed the big in Bristol, and the lead's back up to 8 with the shot clock turned off.
You said it, really wise to not go for the basket herself, to see her teammate in the peripheral vision and make that sweet dish.
Clock down to 5. Here's Weimer, double teamed. Look to get it to Giannaros. It's picked off. Batts a heave from 3/4 court, and it does not go. It's too short, but that'll do it with the Huskies maintaining the lead here in the second quarter despite a late charge from the Terriers.
Well, that's exactly what BU could have hoped for after being down by 17 at various points in this game. Northeastern getting a big bucket at the end, but tell you what, for a rivalry game, you have the feeling like this one's going to come down to the very end of the fourth quarter.
Yeah, still a second half left to play here from the Cabot Center. Northeastern up by 8 though at the half, 45-37. Huskies on top over the Terriers. Back with halftime coverage right after this on Nesson.
In today's college athletics landscape, the transfer portal continues to play a pivotal role in the success and evolution of all programs. For 3 Northeastern student athletes, the opportunity to transfer to Huntington Avenue presented itself as the logical next step in their athletic careers. Now full members of the Northeastern athletics community, their experience as Huskies serves as an example of all that Northeastern has to offer, both on and off the field.
The transfer process and the transfer portal process has changed the landscape of college athletics. So college coaches are now looking at transfer students to recruit into their programs that would give their programs student athletes who might have 1, 2, or 3 years of experience.
After my last season at Virginia Tech, my last fall season, I really didn't know what I wanted to do, but I decided to put my name in the portal, just kind of see what opportunities were out there. And I told myself that I wasn't going to transfer unless, I found a school that I really wanted to go to or that I was really drawn to. And I wanted somewhere where I felt like I could make an impact to the program, but also like the people around me. And I wanted somewhere where I felt like I could grow, kind of continue off of what I've done over the past 4 years.
I ended up in the portal and decided playing was a huge part of my life, and I didn't want to take the gamble of whether or not I was going to ever play or not play at all. So I entered the portal and reached out to a lot of schools I already was talking to. And because I have prior connections, because my cousin played here, it kind of made sense to kind of pursue coming here, and I couldn't imagine not being here anymore.
I played initially in Norway, then I came to the US in 2019, started playing college soccer in Portland. Then now I'm here at Northeastern, finishing up my first semester as a grad student, and again, very, very satisfied and happy with my choices.
I think Northeastern is a destination school for transfer students. And I say destination because we have high academics and we have high athletic achieving programs. Academically, we're a highly selective institution. Student athletes want to be part of the Northeastern academic curriculum. They want to be able to be challenged academically, and they want that prestigious Northeastern degree.
I highly value education. Northeastern is also another great university with a lot of options during your time here, but also when you leave, which is something I take into consideration when considering schools. In terms of the soccer, I spoke with Rich, the head coach, and had great conversations.
One of the main things that drew me here was the people. I was originally very nervous to transfer, but when I talked to the coaches when I came here to Northeastern, I immediately felt comfortable, and I felt like, it was somewhere that I could really see myself. And also, the location of Boston, I've kind of been in Blacksburg my whole life, and I felt like Boston was a great opportunity. It's a great city. Everyone that I've talked to said they loved it here, so that also drew me here.
I love being in the city, and I'm someone who always seems to be doing something, whether I'm going on a hike, going for a run, going to a farmer's market, or going to shop. So being in the city really helps, just keeping me occupied, and having access to be anywhere in the city within 5 to 10 minutes was really cool.
From the athletic side, we're also a destination and a school that student athletes you'll find popular because we've got programs are highly successful. And for them to be able to combine and blend their academics and their athletics at a school like Northeastern is highly desirable for them.
When you play together, you automatically get closer to each other. You face new challenges, you achieve goals together, and I think it helps us overcome whatever challenges we're faced with. Working hard together as a group, having the same values and goals within the team, I think has been one of the major parts.
From day one, we all knew that we wanted to build something together here, and I think with that common goal, we were able to open up to each other and kind of just get to know each other really easy. From day one, I felt so comfortable talking to everyone on the team, and all the newcomers and returners too did a good job of making everyone feel welcome.
Northeastern's really special, I think personally, because the connection I have with the coaches and the players, we're all just super connected, and we're all supporting each other.
I think our coaches have done a really good job identifying the right student athletes that can elevate their program, that make a difference in success of the overall program. And it's important that we have the right transfer students that can embrace Northeastern, be part of the institution, and then provide success to those programs while they're earning their own degree here at the university.
As I've watched Alex, you can tell looking at him that he has that focus, that dedication, that expectation of being a success.
I'm always proud to put that jersey on. I'm honestly honored to represent my country.
That's our culture, is to have the uncomfortable conversations and be comfortable in the uncomfortable.
I think it was the best day of my life. I've never really won anything like that before. I've never thrown my gloves on the ice like that.
Like, no doubt in my mind, she is so strong and nothing was going to stop her.
When Rafael Devers got over to third, it was kind of just awesome. I've been watching him for years now, and he's one of my favorite players.
I'm sure there was a day Kat thought, I'm never going to be able to play soccer again.
For me, this has just been a really good fit. My family is from this area. My wife's family is from this area. And Northeastern's never given me a reason why I would look anywhere else.
For a period of time.
And I think I knew that.
Yeah, no, I
Northeastern leads Boston University 45-37 through one half of play at the Cabot Center. As we take a look at the highlights, and Caitlin Weimer, as we expected, Alex, went to work in the first half.
Northeastern did a really good job of denying her the ball in the post in the first quarter. It got a lot better for BU in the second quarter, opened up some shots for some other players, and Northeastern made it a point. Don't let Giannaros and Weimer be that 1-2 punch that was so deadly. And Northeastern hit some shots from the outside. Maddie Visa, a couple of three-pointers. Erdwan as well in transition, was able to find Jemima Motema. And Northeastern really had a lot of things working offensively in that opening half. I mean, quite a bit. The previous 4 games, they were averaging 46 points in a game, and they scored 45 points in the first half. Today, they had been shooting 33% from the field in their 4-game losing streak. Today, shooting 55% overall, 50% from 3. BU also over 50% for the game, so offense has certainly been a calling card for both of these teams over the first 20 minutes of this game. See if the defenses make their presence felt in the second half.
And for Northeastern, they got off to a 4-1 start this season, and in those 5 games, they averaged 66 points per game. So getting their offense back to where it was at the beginning of the year and trying to bust out of this 4-game losing streak that they're currently in. So they're on top by 8. Let's send it down to our sideline reporter, Adam Giardino, who had a chance to talk to both coaches.
Thank you very much, Joe. Yeah, talking with Melissa Graves of Boston University, I said, hey, you're down 17 now. It's been trimmed down to 8. What keyed that run? And she said, it just stopped. It's not as if BU started ratcheting up the offense. Zone, man, it didn't matter. They weren't getting stopped in the first quarter, according to their coach, and that was what changed the tide in the second. And for Northeastern assistant James Spinelli, we talked about that number, 46 points per game over the last 4, limiting turnovers. That's huge, and in limiting your turnovers, you're going to have more confidence, and that's where you see the 55% shooting from the field, 50% from beyond the arc. He said in that second quarter they were fouling a bit too much, allowing BU to drive straight line to the basket. That has to change for Northeastern to ward off this BU comeback.
All right, thanks, Adam, as BU did outscore Northeastern 27-20 in the second quarter after Northeastern had a 25-10 lead through 1 quarter of action. And we have a travel called right out of the chute here in the third quarter. It goes against Audrey Erickson. And turnovers have been an issue for the Terriers in this game.
That's already their 12th, and on the other side, just 2 for Northeastern, a team that averages almost 19 turnovers committed per game. The 2 turnovers in the first half, that might be the fewest that they've had in any half this season, and allowed them to play the clean offense that they had the majority of that first half.
And they'll likely need another big offensive half to close it out against the Terriers, who are a very good offensive team. Erdwan has it left wing. She had 10 points in the first half on 4 of 7 shooting and a perfect 2 of 2 from three-point land. Nice floater from Erdwan. Makes the lead a 10-point game now for Northeastern.
Really good veteran savvy. She did not panic as the shot clock was drawing to a close and showed off a little bit of depth to her game with that lefty floater. But this is going to be her 3rd personal, and so we'll see how that affects her aggressiveness here for the remainder of this game. Just a minute, not even that, into the second half.
Erdwan has started to shoot it better from three-point land, so she's now made multiple three-pointers in 5 straight games. Now 14 for her last 28. At the beginning of the season, first 5 games, she was just 8 of 32 from three-point land, so she's become a weapon again from distance.
Part of that, she was dealing with a pretty significant shoulder injury, had it all taped up for the first part of the season, but no tape on it today.
And a foul under the basket. Came right before the entry pass, and it goes against Orlai Kiefer. That's her first personal of the game, so second team foul for the Huskies in this third quarter. So 2 team fouls for Northeastern about a minute and 10 seconds into this third quarter. Giannaro, step back jumper, it's short. And Motema the rebound.
Good job by Kiefer on defense to use that height against Giannaros. And now jump ball. It's going to keep it here with Northeastern as Motema was making her drive to the basket. Motema is Northeastern's 2nd leading scorer, 5 points in that first half, and get the feeling like she might need to take on a little bit bigger offensive force in this second half.
Erdwan wide open for 3. Hits the front of the rim and then spills out on the other side. So it stays a 10-point game. First miss from three-point land for Erdwan. Offensive foul, though, on the other end.
Yeah, Semenova got called for a moving screen here. Trying to clear out space, and Visa trying to fight her way around it.
So she comes out now as Kelsey Mingo comes in as we take a look at what caused the foul. Yeah, moving screen there called against Semenova. So 3 personal fouls for her, and that's why she's out now. Here's Deja Bristol, who was very involved in the first half. 12 points for Bristol. Handoff Motema. Jumper from the free throw line is good.
But Motema loves that sweet spot there, just like Jalen Batts, able to hit the mid-range shot with a lot of confidence. She's not necessarily a perimeter shooter. She can knock down a 3, but that's not what she's looking for when it comes to her offense most of the time.
Giannaros a triple, and she knocks that one down. So the NCAA leader in 3-point field goal percentage from a year ago is able to drain the 3. Third one, pull-up jumper, that hits the heel. And the Terriers off and running, down by 10. Benaventine to Mingo. 2.5 gone by here in the third quarter, and we have a foul right before the entry pass. Actually, I think they're going to say kick ball. As Asha Parker comes in, Orlai Kiefer comes out.
And the 3 ball here for Giannaros. Yep, she did get that right foot behind the line. I know that the scoreboard here in the arena and our scorebug has BU at 39 points. They should be at 40 points because of that triple.
Pass down low, Weimer lays it in. Great entry pass to Weimer. She has 16 points now.
Not sure if anybody on the BU sideline realizes that the scoreboard is off.
And so as of now, saying an 8-point game. Nice hands by Weimer to poke away that entry pass to Bristol. Mingo almost fed it into Weimer, instead sends it to the other side. Here's Giannaros attacking, tied up. We have a jump ball. It's going to stay BU basketball.
Jump ball. Terriers possession.
So it's Giannaros to trigger it in. Out to Benaventine. And a foul on the floor.
I think they're going to get Bristol here. That would be her 3rd, and it will be.
Boston University foul on number 31, Anastasia.
Didn't look like there was a lot of contact down low.
So 2 team fouls against Northeastern, 3 personal on Deja Bristol. Beg your pardon, that's the 3rd against Northeastern. Benaventine turnaround, doesn't drop in. Khalees comes down with the board. She is off and running. We've seen that from Northeastern today. Get the rebound and then push the action. Parker down low, fouled, counted, +1.
Good timing, first points of the day for Asha Parker, and a really savvy move to work her way under the defenders there. You see Parker set up camp being posted by Giannaros, so the question is going to be her, or is it going to be Weimer who gets whistled for this foul? They're going to tag it on Giannaros, which is good for BU. It avoids Weimer picking up her 3rd, both players with 2 personals, and Parker, pretty important 3-point play. Again, it should be a 10-point game at this point. The officials have not gone back and told the scorers table that that 3 ball hit by Giannaros was a 3, not a 2. And it was called a 3 on the floor.
Here's Erickson, shakes off Batts, drives, and it's a blocking foul against the Huskies. They wanted to charge, didn't get it, and instead another foul against Deja Bristol, so that's her 4th personal.
So let's take a look here. Boy, that's a tough foul. Bristol very close as to whether or not she got there in time, and it's one of those, it's a 50-50 call, and for Bristol playing with 3 fouls, I guess in those situations you say, if you're the head coach, Priscilla Edwards-Lloyd, not the time to be as aggressive there and try and go for that charge, especially given where we are in the game with so much time to go.
Perfect 2 of 2 is Erickson on that trip to the free throw line. So now she's a perfect 7 for 7 on the season. Here's Khalees, guarded by Gormley. Pull up, little short. Iduwu fighting for the ball. It's last touched off Iduwu with her left arm out of bounds. So Out of bounds on Northeastern, BU basketball. Entry pass comes to Weimer. 16 points already today. Here's Mingo on the attack, shut off by Batts. Comes back to Weimer. Feeds a cutting Erickson who lays it in.
Excellent movement without the basketball by Erickson. She's just a freshman, but sometimes when you're left all alone, you're not quite sure where to go, but went to the basket, figured the ball would find her, and an excellent find by BU. Working this game to where it says 7 on the board. We think it's a 6-point game.
Parker, a three-pointer. She's knocked down a couple this season. Mingo does a nice job making sure that ball didn't go out of bounds. And so the Terriers on the move again, clawing their way back into this game. Here's Mingo, kick out. Monteagudo floats it out back up top to Erickson. Here's Weimer again, feed down low. Wide open is the freshman Monteagudo, and the lead is down to 5. Could even be 4. 4:49 remaining here in the third quarter, and the Huskies now holding on to a 5-point advantage. BU continues to be on the attack. 4:49 left in the third, back right after this here on Nesson. Huskies leading by 5 as of now, 52-47, and they just added a point for BU after looking over what we thought initially was an Alex Giannaro's 3-point make. They called it a 2 on the floor, and now looking at it again, they see her foot behind the arc, so it is a 3-pointer made by Giannaro. So it's a 4-point lead for the Huskies, 52-48 with 4:49 remaining. As we look at what the Terriers did last year, I mean, just a remarkable campaign. 24-9 overall, those 24 wins, tied for second most in Terriers women's basketball history. And then they went 17-1 in Patriot League play. The only team they lost to in Patriot League action, both in the regular season and then in the tournament, was Holy Cross, who beat him in the final. And it was kind of interesting to talk to Coach Graves about that experience last year, and the mixed feelings of accomplishing so much, having an historic season, but also having it end the way it did.
Yeah, and it's a little bit bittersweet. It doesn't take away everything. Certainly the ending is not what the Terriers would have liked, but they broke somewhere between 15 and 20 program records over the course of the year. Now everybody who was on that team and the coaches as well have the experience of what it takes to be a really good team in the regular season. You know, maybe Holy Cross facing them a second time after losing in the regular season finale got in their heads a little bit in that final.
Missed shot from Batts, so it's a 4-point game after the review. The Terriers have been red hot here in the third quarter to continue to cut into this deficit. Comes to Weimer down low, guarded by Kiefer. Now to Mingo. Now it's a freshman Monteagudo. Back down low to Weimer, who lays it in. Kaylin Weimer up to 18, and it's a 2-point game.
She's so polished when she's around the basket. Even the length of Orelai Kiefer, who's 6'3", not enough to bother her.
The spin on that shot from Kiefer a little off, and a chance for the Terriers to tie or take the lead. They have only led at 1 point in this game, and that's when they jumped on top 2-0 at the beginning of the contest.
This has been so workmanlike by the Terriers to get themselves in this game, cut it down to 8 at halftime. They were down 13 earlier in this quarter.
Good defense in the interiors. Mingo's shot could not fall in. And here is Motema on the other end, guarded by Mingo. Kick out Batts. And finds Erdwan, who will set up the offense and slow things down. As of now, the Terriers have outscored the Huskies 13-7 here in the third quarter. And since the first quarter, 40-27. Here's Batts driving. And it's an offensive foul. Or no, they're going to say the foul actually against Weimer. It's a blocking foul. And that's big for a couple different reasons. Now for Weimer, that's her third personal foul. And then on top of that, Batts will head to the free throw line. We'll take a timeout. 2:56 left here in the third quarter. Huskies up by 2, 52-50 in this Boston matchup at the Cabot Center. Huskies clinging to a 2-point lead against the Boston University Terriers. It's 52-50, Northeastern on top, alongside Alex Vespoli and our sideline reporter Adam Giardino. I'm Joe Weil. Appreciate you joining us on this Friday afternoon as we see what the Huskies have done over their 4-game losing streak and then what they did before that. Today, they are shooting 50%, but Alex, they've cooled off a little bit here in this third quarter, and their scoring drought has allowed the Terriers to get back into it.
Yeah, 3 for 9 in this second half, and the offense has not flowed. You heard what Adam talked about, the BU coaching staff getting stops has been key for BU to get back in this game, slow down Northeastern's offense. And for the Huskies, defensively, they've been fouling a bit more as well. They were playing better defense earlier in this game without fouling. So those two changes have helped turn the tide of this game, even though Northeastern has the lead. A lead that was 13 points earlier in the quarter, down to 3.
Here's Erickson. She was open for a moment. Good help defense, though. Corner 3, that's good! Monteagudo knocks it down from downtown, her third three-pointer, and we are tied at 53.
She had 2 3-pointers all season coming into this game, 3 today, and we've got a new game.
Good defense by Mingo on Motema, and the Terriers have a chance to take the lead for the first time since the start of the game. They led 2-0, and then Northeastern took a big lead at the end of the first quarter, had a lead as high as 17, and now we're tied. 3-second violation called against Weimer. So another turnover for the Terriers, and when they look at the film back on this one, that'll be one thing that they hope to improve upon, that last 3-second violation against Weimer, the 14th turnover against Boston University.
Yeah, the amazing thing is that Northeastern at this point has only committed 3 turnovers, and they're the team that's usually well in the tank when it comes to the turnover margin. They're -3.5 for the season. BU's not been great when it comes to turnovers as well, but Northeastern just a higher rate in general.
Erdogan can't finish. Parker the offensive rebound. Out to Kelly's. Her three-pointer hits the heel, trickles toward the top of the backboard, and unfortunately for the Terriers, Gormley stepped out of bounds, so it's going to stay Huskies basketball.
Yeah, tightrope walking that baseline, and Gormley loses her balance. Gives Northeastern another opportunity with a fresh 30 seconds on this shot clock.
Huskies 0 for their last 7 from the floor.
They're not getting easy looks. BU's tightened up defensively.
Parker spins, can't finish. Good defense from Weimer.
Yeah, and that's not going to be a block, but that's the size and the defensive prowess from the Patriot League preseason Defensive Player of the Year. And Player of the Year overall.
And she came into today averaging 1.7 blocks per game. That's best in the Patriot League. Here's Mingo. Right wing 3, too strong.
Appreciate the confidence in that shot. It was way off.
Parker double teamed and dribbled it off her foot. Here comes Gormley the other way, and she turns it over. So a bit of a frenetic pace on both sides as Erdogan slows it down, looks at her head coach, Priscilla Edwards-Lloyd, as the Huskies look to retake the lead. Erdogan drives and finishes. Darren Erdogan with 14.
We talked about it at the top of the broadcast. She's the engine for this Northeastern offense. And when things are slow, they've got to find a way to get number 1, the basketball, in scoring opportunities.
Gormley lets it rip from 3 and buries it. BU takes the lead.
First time since it was, what, 2-0? And for Boston University, it's a freshman from Quincy who puts them back in front. A team with a lot of newbies on the squad, 6 freshmen among 8 newcomers. And they're going to be battle-tested here down the stretch.
Gormley, the first ever verbal commit under head coach Melissa Graves. Big shot there. Here's Batts looking to answer. Her turnaround doesn't go. What fight by Khalees, but she has it stolen away. Right at the buzzer, that shot's off from Monteagudo. She's been hitting everything from 3, so wouldn't have been too surprised if she knocked that down. But the Terriers have taken the lead. They outscore the Huskies 19-10 in the third quarter, as BU has a 56-55 edge over the Huskies. Do not go anywhere. We have a fun fourth quarter coming your way next on Nesson.
My name is Lenica Vasquez. I am the head volleyball coach at Northeastern University. The thing that will help women's sports is exposure. We're not female athletes. We're not women athletes. We're athletes. So get us in front of the camera. You know, once you see a volleyball match, you're going to come back for more. But we need that exposure. So the partnership with the City of Boston Credit Union is huge for us. And it just offers us an opportunity to say, hey, here we are. We're going to turn around and uplift the women that are coming up.
This is where everything starts. It's a place of new beginnings, new opportunities, and a new identity. We are the Coastal Athletic Association, and from the beaches to the city streets, we are united to succeed at an elite level. In competition, in our communities, in our lives. This is the tide that lifts us, the fire that burns inside all of us. This is our moment, our new chapter. We are the CAA, and we are united in excellence.
CAA champions are built by commitment, dedication, and courage. CAA champions live on the court, on the pitch, on the track, on the field, and in the pool. CAA champions live on FloSports.
Giardino with you. Coming into the season, this group of Boston University Terriers decided that they wanted to do one act of community service every month. And so 9 days ago, the Terriers huddled up and they hit the community and they went out for their annual holiday reading program. Now for Boston University, they split up among a couple of different schools. And one of the schools that they did go to was the Samuel W. Mason Elementary School. Alex Giannaros is the team's one education major, and she might want to coach as well. Melissa Graves said that Giannaros really took to the day's activity, as well as Caitlin Weimer. Perhaps because of her height, kids seem to always gravitate to Weimer after the game, but frankly, the feeling is mutual. Graves has a 21-month-old and a 21-month-old and a 6-month-old, and Weimer can't get enough of those two kids when they're around the basketball facility. So, guys, community service paying off leading into this one for the Terriers.
And here's Monteagudo, who's having a career day. She lays it in, lead up to 3 now for the Terriers, their largest lead of the game. They've been playing from behind and now have a 58-55 edge. Adams, thank you so much for all of that information and a fun experience for the Terriers, and both them having a lot of fun, the kids as well, as Monteagudo almost had another steal there.
They're doing what Northeastern was doing early in the game with active hands in those passing lanes, knocking passes away and thwarting offense. That's what the Huskies were doing to the Terriers early on. And now BU doing that here to start the fourth quarter against Northeastern. Going to reinsert this basketball over on the far side of the floor. They wanted to get the shot clock back down to 12. They did not determine it to be a change of possession, or I think they initially reset it to 20 seconds.
Comes right down low to Bristol, who lays it in. Huskies needed that bucket, now down by 1. As Deja Bristol continues her great offensive game. She's got 14 points now and 5 of 7 shooting.
Got to be careful, though, playing with 4 fouls, and right now she's matched up with Weimer.
Monteagudo, her triple and air ball. Here's Motema, has it poked away. Benaventine comes away with it.
It was Monteagudo who had the deflection.
Great job by Calise to hustle back and force a deflection and send it out of bounds, instead of allowing the Terriers to get an easy transition bucket as Motema comes out. Maddie Wiesek comes in for Northeastern. Priscilla Edwards-Lloyd in her first game for the Huskies against the Terriers as Northeastern's head coach, looking for a victory. Erdogan, step back 3, that's off. Bristol fighting for the rebound, almost had it.
Was looking for a foul, but she's got to be careful on those rebound chances that she doesn't commit one.
Giannaros floats it to Weimer, high post to Monteagudo, who's got heavy minutes today, but she is playing well in them with 15 points. Down low to Weimer, who cannot finish. Good defense from Bristol, and again, she's got the 4 fouls, so she has to be careful, but she's able to front Weimer in a way to make it a difficult shot. Yeah, it stays a 1-point game.
So tough against Weimer, who puts you into foul trouble based on her activity, how often she gets it.
Calise attacks high off the window and lays it in.
So there's some freshman burst there from Yersi Calise, Dominican Republic native. She's seen her time playing go way up lately.
Weimer answers with a bucket on the other end. She's got 20.
And they just go back and forth. Northeastern retook the lead. BU gets it right back.
Back and forth we go here in the fourth quarter at the Cabot Center. Floated pass poked away by Weimer. It stays Huskies basketball. So this matchup living up to the billing. It's a close all-time matchup. BU has the edge 41-39, but the Huskies have won 8 of the last 10 and the last 2.
But this one's looking a lot like the one that started off last season, where Northeastern led for significant portions of the game, went back and forth, and the final points were scored with more than a minute and a half to go in a 66-65 Northeastern win.
Visa, down low to Parker. Shot clock at 5, and we have a foul on the floor. It's going to go against the Terriers, so that's the first foul called here in the fourth quarter. And it goes against Erickson. That's her third personal foul. Clock stops with 7:14 remaining in the fourth quarter. Parker comes out, Batts comes in, and just to add to the intrigue of this matchup too, Alex, you have two teams that last year either won an outright regular season title, that being the Terriers in the Patriot League, as this is poked away by Giannaros. Great defense by Alex Giannaros. It leads to an easy bucket, and it's a three-point game. So the reigning Patriot League regular season champs have a three-point edge on the reigning co-CAA regular season champs in the Huskies, as it was blown dead for a moment. I wonder if it was because of what was left on the clock time-wise.
Well, BU stepped it up defensively. There's no doubt about that. Things were, in that first quarter, all too easy for Northeastern. And, you know, they were playing clean basketball because BU wasn't providing a lot of pressure. And it was very different than I think what the Terriers were intending to do here against a team that had been struggling offensively. But as the defense has gotten better for BU, they've gotten back in this game.
Erdogan's penetration and the layup, it ends up spilling out. So it stays a three-point game, and Erdogan clapping her hands in frustration that one somehow did not go. Semenova three-pointer. That's off right there. It's Erickson who's blocked by Batts. Jalen Batts bats it away, and it stays a three-point game. Erdogan to Khalees, the floater off the window and in. 1 point game.
Twice here in this quarter, Yersi Khalees has gone high off the window to give her team some sorely needed points. Playing time is picked up for her, averaging over 23 minutes the last 3 games. First 6, she was averaging about 12 or 13 minutes played, but she's starting to get more comfortable.
What a heads-up play by Jalen Batts as she hits it off Giannaros out of bounds. Northeastern with the basketball, and that came right after a previous defensive sequence, and she blocked a shot that led to a transition bucket.
She was not going to be able to catch up to this ball, but realized she could swipe it off Giannaros. And everybody pumped up on the Northeastern side after that. Another opportunity for the Huskies to move back in front, and another chance for BU to make a defensive stand.
Just a brilliant basketball play by Batts. Here's Erdogan creating some space. Step back jumper. Too strong. The Northeastern bench was ready to explode, but instead they watch on with their team down by 1. Weimer, reverse, hits off the rim. Last touched off the Huskies.
Still Terriers ball.
Weimer 1 rebound away from a double-double. She's sitting on 20 points and 9 rebounds. She has 6 double-doubles this year. As Motema comes in and replaces Darren Erdogan.
Yeah, last year Weimer became the second Terrier ever to average a double-double over the course of the season, and a decent chance of being able to do it once again this season.
Last player to do it before her, Debbie Miller, can't finish on the bunny, gets that offensive rebound, and she's fouled, so she has a double-double, and now she heads to the line for 2 shots.
And they're going to get Bristol for this foul. Jalen Batts is saying this one was on me. You see, she has been trying to claim that foul. Let's take a look. And you see bats coming in there. I think that there's a case to be made that it was her that committed the foul. You know, initially she's saying no foul, and then she realizes it's on her teammate and says, no, it's my foul.
And that is so big because Bristol's played such a big role in trying to guard Caitlin Weimer. And then on the offensive end, what she's done in the paint too, pitching in 14 points and getting to the free throw line and getting the Terriers in foul trouble on their end too.
Well, it's not going to change. The call is going to stay the foul on Deja Bristol. So that is a critical call. Bristol fouls out with 14 points, all but 2 of them coming in the first half. Also at 6 rebounds, but they say the ball don't lie. Both free throws uncharacteristically missed by Weimer, who is their leading free throw shooter this season at 77%.
So now a chance for the Huskies to retake the lead. Biza bounces it down low to Parker, guarded by Weimer. That shot off the bottom of the backboard. It's lost. Parker scoops it up, lays it in. Huskies take the lead.
Not the way you drew it up initially, but Asha Parker making a return from injury. The Milford, Connecticut native does not give up on the play and puts the Huskies back in front. This has been a fun one all afternoon, Joe. We thought it was going to come down to the final minutes.
Semenova out to Monteagudo. That shot doesn't go, as Monteagudo could not connect on the 3, which she's done 3 times today. And a couple of substitutions ready for the Terriers at the next opportunity. Calise, guarded by Gormley, attacks, floats it up, and in! Calise with some big buckets down the stretch. Timeout BU as the Huskies lead by 3.
No fear for Yursi Calise going against the Patriot League preseason player of the year. She goes right over the top. And both teams making stands in this 4th quarter. Huskies on top by 3.
Well, it's a packed crowd here at the Cabot Center, and what a fun show they have been able to see today between Northeastern and Boston University. Huskies lead by 3, 65-62, but Inés Monteagudo has really been big for the Terriers. A freshman from Spain, she's knocked down some big 3-pointers and couple of easy buckets as well, but she has really done it all for BU today in what has been a big spot.
Yeah, done it in different ways. The shots from distance, and I think defensively here, what we've seen in this fourth quarter is some pesky hands getting it done, and it's really been great growth to see out of the freshman from Valencia, Spain. 8 points in the first half, 7 in the second half. Right now starting this possession on the bench, but with the way that she's played, I'd imagine Melissa Graves will want to put her back out there at some point in the home stretch.
BU has not scored in over 3 minutes. The Huskies are on a 6-0 run, looking to close this out and end a 4-game losing streak. Giannaros penetrates, spins on Khalees, and is blocked by Parker, but they're going to say it's a foul, and actually they're going to give the foul to Khalees. So 2 shots coming up here for Giannaros.
It's just the second team foul on Northeastern here in the fourth quarter, so there'll be some fouls to give down the stretch here. Giannaros, pretty good free throw shooter at 73% coming in. All these are so big for BU, but it has not been a great day at the free throw line for a couple of trips here in this fourth quarter. We saw Weimer miss a couple on her last trip. And now 0 for 2 on this trip by Giannaros.
So now 0 for 4 in the fourth quarter from the free throw line. Here's Erdogan out to Khalees. She's red hot, but she can't connect there as it hits the heel. And Batts is whistled for a foul. She's frustrated with the call there. She has been big for Northeastern, as she always does when she plays best. She does the little things for this Northeastern club, but that's her 3rd personal foul, so now she has to be a little bit careful as we come down the stretch here.
And I think that she's upset because she thought that she made a clean steal, and then she was fouled by Mingo. She initially clapped her hands until she realized the foul was on her and not on the Terriers. And now Bat's going to pick up another one, I think.
Yep, so now she's at 4 personal fouls. And for the Huskies, they now have 4 team fouls, so 1 away from putting BU in the bonus.
And they are all coming in quick succession. The first, 40 seconds since we came back from the media timeout. 3 quick fouls. And, Bat's a player that brings so much energy, and I think that right now she's being asked to get her head back in the game and come up with ways that she can positively impact the team, but she does so often. You said she does the little things, and there's no doubt about that, but right now they're going to have to get it done without their super sub.
Huskies head coach Priscilla Edwards-Lloyd calls her a jack of all trades because she can do so much. Here's Weimer, down low to Mingo, shot clock at 8. The feed and a turnover. Erdogan comes away with it. Coming up on 3 minutes remaining here at the Cabot Center.
That was Kiefer's size that affected that pass. Mingo couldn't really see where that pass was going to go.
Erdogan downhill to Khalees, 3-pointer. That's off. And a foul on the floor that's going to go against the Terriers. And then it's Erickson who's whistled for the personal. And that's her 4th personal.
How about the confidence of Khalees? She missed the 3 on the previous possession. It shows no fear that she says, I'm going to take it again. I'm left open. Even though it doesn't go down, I think that her coaches probably appreciate that shot and the confidence to take that shot here late in the game.
And that aggressiveness, Alex, it's led to some big buckets in the fourth quarter. She's got 8, 1 shy of her career high of 9, which was against UNH. Erdogan directing traffic. BU in a zone. Erdogan. Tax is shut off by Mingo. Now floats it up, and it's too strong on the other end. Parker could not get the shot off before the shot clock buzzed. So it's a shot clock violation, and it stays a 3-point game.
Boy, it felt like that shot was so close to drawing iron, it must have just missed by an inch or so. Went right over the cylinder.
And how about this? Jalen Batts with those 4 personal fouls back into the game as Yursi Khalees comes out.
Gives them obviously a bit more size and certainly a lot more experience. Jalen Batts in her 5th year after playing 3 seasons at Boston College, now in her 2nd at Northeastern.
Benaventine floats it to Weimer. Weimer with 2 bodies on her, right-hand hook, up and in. 22 points for the preseason Patriot League Player of the Year.
For BU, it comes down to stops here. Can you play good defense without fouling? Give yourselves a chance to take the lead on the next offensive possession.
Erdwan to Bats at the free throw line. Right elbow jumper off. And Benamentine comes down with it. A chance for the Terriers to retake the lead. Weimer out to the corner. Now Benamentine at the top of the arc to Semenova. Left wing three, bottom. And the Terriers retake the lead. Timeout Northeastern. And a big bucket for Semenova.
Well, we talked with Melissa Graves about Anastasia Semenova. She said, you know, she can stretch the floor, knock down shots. We've seen her effective both inside and outside. And to have that player in the 4 spot who can give a little bit of space to Caitlin Weimer and form a really good dynamic duo with 2 players who are 6'2" or taller, Semenova making that shot. If she can do that in Patriot League play and play the way that she has today with a dozen more points, then she's going to put BU in position to be able to host in the Patriot League tournament, make a deep run once again this season.
Yeah, that's exactly what they did last year before losing in the final to Holy Cross, but picked second in the Patriot League in the preseason poll despite only having 5 returning players from a year ago. But they have gotten some huge contributions today and players stepping up. Semenova being one of them with a big bucket. They've also gotten 15 points out of Monteagudo, the freshman, and they lead by 2 here on the Huskies. Here's Bats on the baseline. Turnaround, no good. Parker right there. She puts it up and in, and we're tied.
Great patience by Asha Parker. Take an extra moment, free yourself up for the easy shot. And here we go. 70 seconds left.
That ends a scoring drought of roughly 3 minutes for the Huskies. So we're tied at 67 with 1 minute remaining. Giannaros attacks, blocked by Parker. Huskies on the run. Erdwan stops at the free throw line, out to Visa. Wide open 3, bottom. Huskies take the lead.
She hit those early threes. Hadn't been heard from offensively since, but left alone. And what a response by Northeastern after the 3 by Semenova. And Asha Parker, a huge reason why on both ends.
And a foul against Northeastern here, so that's their 5th team foul. And we have a technical foul.
Yeah, Bats committed the foul and then started jawing at Giannaros. And just a terrible mistake there for Northeastern. And obviously Bats is hot. So now it already was going to be the 5th team foul on Northeastern. Look at this. Bulldozing Weimer. That's her 5th foul, so should be 2 free throws coming up here for BU and a technical free throw as well. So if the Terriers hit their free throws, could be a tie game here.
Yeah, just a big foul, and then to add on top of that, the technical foul, and then with that, Jalen Bats is now fouled out of the game with 5 personal fouls. So it's a triple whammy really going against the Huskies here, with now putting BU in the bonus, and then on top of that, the technical foul that was assessed to Bats. And with how heated this game was already trending toward the finish, more in a competitive way than actual words being exchanged. Now that intensity is really revved up in the final minute, and the Huskies now really clinging to a 3-point lead at 70-67.
And you know, those are 2 fiery players going at each other. Giannaros is certainly a player who's not afraid of getting into it and certainly inspiring her teammates with her voice. And Bats is a huge energy player for Northeastern. And officials are talking things over with the scorers table as to how this is adjudicated. You see there, Bats running in, and then, you know, 2 players going back and forth, and then, you know, we don't know what was said, but obviously Bats got the last word, but that's not usually a that's not a great thing to happen in that sequence.
And you could see Orlai Kiefer and Asha Parker come immediately to try to get Bats out of the situation so that she wouldn't be assessed a technical foul, but she did end up getting assessed for that. So Alex Giannaros has also been assessed a technical foul.
So that'll go down because in college basketball, unlike the NBA, a technical foul counts as a personal foul, becomes her third technical. So they essentially cancel each other out, so they will not get the extra free throw. We didn't know about the technical on Giannaros until they made the announcement here in the arena.
Weimer 6th free throw, so that's the first made free throw for BU in this fourth quarter. They were 0 for 4 in this frame before that one went down. Second of 2, up and in. 1 point game. And Northeastern takes a timeout.
And they'll advance the basketball on that timeout. They'll still have another remaining, but good idea by Priscilla Edwards-Lloyd. And it'll be really interesting here with the timing because, you know, if you're BU, you don't necessarily have to foul, but if you allow Northeastern to take this shot clock all the way down, you're not going to leave yourself with much opportunity. So expect to see BU, I would imagine, kind of play it down the middle and try and get that steal and then play a little bit of defense before eventually fouling if Northeastern's not aggressive in going to the basket.
Well, after this game, the next game on the slate for the Huskies is one that begins conference action. It's against Delaware, and you see where Northeastern lies in the preseason poll, third behind Townsend and Stony Brook. They did get 2 first-place votes, and this is coming off a season in which they won a share of the CAA regular season title. And then for the Boston University side, as we talked about a little bit before, picked second in the preseason poll. This game coming down to the wire here at the Cabot Center with the Huskies on top by 1. Looking to snap a 4-game slide. BU second in the Patriot League in terms of steals per game. They elect to foul there. So it's Gormley picking up the foul, her first personal, and now BU with 14 fouls.
Yeah, and I didn't take into account when I was expecting what to happen is that the fouls to give are a key part of this. They had to foul, so the next one would put Northeastern at the free throw line when they do elect to foul, and they do so right here, electing to send Kiefer to the free throw line where she's virtually untested this season. Just 1 for 1 coming into this game at the free throw line, and this will be her first trip there today.
Second generation Husky, her dad a Hall of Fame rower here from 1977 to 1981, and we hit on it earlier, played a lot of minutes against Holy Cross. Her minutes have seen a significant uptick as the season has progressed as she misses the first of 2.
And Kiefer only went to the free throw line 9 times last year, so just her 11th and 12th attempts in her 2-year Husky career.
Second of 2 up and in. 2-point game. Melissa Graves calls a timeout. So Northeastern has 1 timeout remaining. And BU is in the bonus with 31.2 seconds remaining. BU still has 1 timeout left after this.
And so, figure they're going to try and turn things over to the Patriot League preseason player of the year in Weimer, given that she's an excellent free throw shooter. If she is unable to score off live action, you see the Terriers, Holy Cross, team that Northeastern just saw and lost by 24 to, playing the number 2 pick team in the Patriot League, much closer here today at home. But a BU squad that you mentioned, it, great respect for the Terrier program and what Melissa Graves has continued to build upon despite all the new faces. They think that the Terriers are going to be pretty good, and they have been. This is the best non-conference they've had since Coach Graves has been a part of the program.
And they're 5-2 month of November, one of their best in conference. Giannaros ties it at 71. Timeout taken by Northeastern and a big bucket for the Terriers. So it stops the clock with 27.5 seconds remaining here in the fourth quarter. And The score tied at 71 here between BU and Northeastern. And a big bucket for Alex Giannaros, who for the most part had been quiet today.
And you think of her with her great three-point shooting, but she's certainly more than just a three-point shooter. Got the ball in her hands, bulldozed to the basket, a little bit of contact, good defense by Northeastern, but better offense by Giannaros. Brockton native, you know that she brings a little bit of toughness to the floor, being from Brockton. And Giannaros tying this game up at 71 right after she was involved in that kerfuffle with Jalen Batts. And so now for Northeastern, who do you turn to? You've got a few options. Darren Erdwan, we talked about her. When you need a bucket, can go with her. So you see what Giannaros did last year. And then you got Maddie Vizos hit a couple of shots. Jemima Motema, excellent mid-range and close to the basket. You don't have a player like Deja Bristol, who's obviously fouled out, or Jalen Batts, but Northeastern's got some options, and that's pretty impressive for a team that had been struggling offensively coming into today.
For Giannaros, that bucket for her puts her at 11 in the afternoon. We talked to Coach Graves about her before the game. She says she'll tell you what it is. She's going to be loud on the floor, and that's a good thing for the Terriers to have that vocal leader out there in the court. And she's had a steady progression in her career with the Terriers. A part of the Patriot League All-Rookie team, her freshman campaign. Last year, third team member in the Patriot League. And this year, 5th in the conference, coming into today in points per game. And her big bucket tied it at 71. And now the Huskies will inbound from their sideline.
Northeastern's only shot 35.5% in this half, just 1 of 8 from 3. Have not been able to get that offense consistently going, but can they draw up one play with the game tied?
Erdwan with the ball in her hands. Shot clock turned off. All eyes on the Arizona transfer. The Turkey native puts it on the deck. Guarded by Giannaros. Tied up, jump ball, possession arrow pointing the way of the Terriers.
Great defense by BU, and you see Sophie Benaventine there in the middle of things. Giannaros was great outside on the perimeter. It all starts with Giannaros cutting off that lane, and then Benaventine, really unselfish player, stepping in, causing that change of possession. The Northeastern put the ball in the hands of their senior point guard, but the BU defense was ready for it, and now the Terriers, with a couple of ticks to go, can get out of here with a win.
Last time these two teams met, the Huskies came away with a 1-point victory at Case Gymnasium. And now BU will have the ball in their hands with a chance to win it with 2.6 seconds remaining. They're using their final timeout right now. But another fun one between the Terriers and the Huskies coming down to the wire.
And if you're on Northeastern, you can't commit a foul. Foul will send BU to the free throw line, so you've got to play good defense without letting a clean shot get off. For BU, they've got a few options they can go to. Weimer, we've seen the quick release in her hands. You obviously have a little bit of time to get a dribble or two down with 2.6 seconds to go. Giannaros never afraid to take a big shot. And also the freshman, Monte Agudo. Would they go to her? Career high 15 points for her today.
Yeah, she's been one of the big stories for Boston University today, and out there on the court here for this final possession.
They put Orlai Kiefer, the tallest player on Northeastern, with that big wingspan to try and disrupt the pass.
Gormley to trigger it in. Floats it down low to Weimer, and that'll wind down the clock. BU could not get a shot off right before the buzzer. Khalees was able to fling that one in from half court, but it was well past time expired. And we head to overtime in what has been an epic matchup between these two Boston-based schools. Northeastern, BU, tied at 71 here at the Cabot Center. And we have an overtime period coming for you next between the Huskies and the Terriers here on NESN. At the Cabot Center, have seen quite the show between Boston University and Northeastern. Both teams had a chance to win it, but great defense on both ends have allowed this game to go into overtime.
Yeah, first the turnover forced by Giannaros and Benaventine, and then the final BU possession. They try and get it to Weimer, never gets that ball cleanly as she flipped it back to Erickson. Northeastern recovered. How about this? Didn't count, but my goodness, if Khalees had released it half a second earlier, would have been a game winner.
Would have been an epic shot as Weimer's blocked by Kiefer. BU won the tip, but they can't come up with any points on their first attempt on the offensive end.
Stops by both teams defensively, sending us to overtime in a day that was ruled by the offense to start.
Benaventine with the takeaway. She lays it in, and BU jumps up by 2 here in overtime.
First points of the day for Sophie Benaventine, the senior from New Jersey. And once again, it's another one of those plays like we saw at the start of the fourth quarter. Great hands knocking the ball away and leading to easy points on the other end for the Terriers.
And Alex Benaventine, one of those glue players for Boston University. The stats don't overwhelm you, but she does a lot of the little things that her coach appreciates. Is there's a foul on the floor. It goes against Giannaros. And so now she has 4 personal fouls. But going back to Benaventine, Coach loves what she does. She's another ball handler out there on the court. And after a big charge against Harvard, she won the dog of the game, which is a chain that a player will get for their effort in a game. It's one of the fun things that the Terriers do, and it was because of her effort in that game against the Crimson as Parker sinks the first of 2.
Yeah, she wasn't a part of the post-game press conference that day after the win against Harvard, but certainly got the recognition from her teammates to get the dog of the game. Let's going to see which is the top dog between these two programs. What a strong second half for Asha Parker. Not playing 100%, 9 points, all of them since halftime. Made a couple of really strong defensive plays as well.
Semenova, 3-pointer. She knocks it down. Another big 3 for Semenova. And BU jumps back ahead.
2 huge threes in the fourth quarter, and now overtime here for Anastasia Semenova. And the sophomore, 1 away from the career high she had last time against Division III Emmanuel.
Yeah, she had 16 in that game. Khalees looking to answer. 3-pointer, too strong. Benaventine comes down with the board. Both teams in the bonus here in this overtime period after the foul that led to Parker going to the free throw line. Here's Weimer, who already has a double-double today. Down low to Benaventine, who dribbles it back out to the perimeter. Comes back to Weimer in the paint with Parker on her. Right-hand hook, no good. Great defense from Asha Parker.
Excellent defense without fouling. So often Weimer will draw those, even if she misses, get the foul.
Pull up, Erdogan, too strong, comes out to Khalees. Erdogan thought about a 3, instead sets up the offense. Maddie Visa set to check in to get a little bit more shooting out on the floor. Terriers still in their zone. Here's Motema. Pull-up jumper, baseline. That's off. Fight for the loose ball. Who's it last touched on?
They're going to look at it.
It's on the floor called Northeastern basketball. Last touched off the Terriers.
It looked like they wanted to review that initially, but I call it a jump ball, possession arrow to Northeastern because the officials couldn't make the determination as to who it went off of. A little tough to tell there. But Northeastern's going to end up keeping it, but they'll, believe, change that possession arrow over to BU after the ball gets inbounded.
And one thing to note again for the Huskies, they're without 2 key players in their rotation. Motema's pull-up is off as Weimer brings it down for her 11th rebound. So no Jalen Batts, no Deja Bristol here for this overtime period for Northeastern because they fouled out. And the other body's looking to step up here for the Huskies. Need a stop. Wantia Gudo, who's had a big game today for the Terriers with 15 points. Here's Weimer. Looking for anybody. Shot clock at 5. Benaventine floats it down low. Weimer, shot clock at 1. Right hand hook off the window and in.
That's just beautiful coordination by Weimer.
Erdogan a 3. That's down. Darren Erdwan's third three-pointer of the game, and the lead back down to 2.
It's a game saver for Northeastern. 5-point game back to 2, gives the Huskies some life here.
Gets the crowd into it again as well. 1:30 remaining here in overtime. Benaventine to Weimer. Poked away by Motema. Huskies on the run, 3-on-2. Visa up top to Kiefer. Now Erdwan wide open for 3. Bottom! Darren Erdwan puts Northeastern back on top.
Things were looking like they were going to turn sideways for Northeastern, but Erdwan calling her own number, back-to-back possessions. It's been that type of day. Just when you think a team is down and out, there is a spurt. And with a minute to go in overtime, this one's still not over.
Darren Erdwan with 2 huge three-pointers to put Northeastern up by 1. Monteagudo gets some space, blocked by Motema, shot clock at 1. Shot clock violation, Boston University.
The block by Motema helping cause chaos there. And Northeastern stepping up with some big defensive stops.
Some huge plays for the Huskies down the stretch. The defense stepping up, as you just mentioned, Alex, and you could not ask for bigger three-pointers from Erdwan. And the first one she hit allowed the Huskies to feel like they were back in the game again after BU built a 5-point lead.
And Northeastern had been so cold since halftime. Before those threes, they had been just 1 for 9 from three-point range.
And a foul against Benaventine, so that's her second personal, but again, both teams in the bonus, so this puts Northeastern at the free throw line, and it's Darren Erdwan at the charity stripe, who has been money all season long, coming into today's game shooting at 79%, and now attempting her first free throws of the afternoon. First one rattles home. This is already the most points that Northeastern scored in a game this year.
Erdwan's just shown such great poise and leadership. She's steamed at herself for missing that second free throw as BU takes the timeout. And you have to figure number 11 is going to be involved. We'll see what Melissa Graves dials up for her team. They've grown so much offensively. You know, it's so difficult when you have new players. I mean, players that are gone from last year were really critical. Sydney Johnson, Maggie Pina, Marin Durant. These are, you know, long-time, multi-year starters for this group. And it's really difficult to try and forge offensive continuity when you have so many new players. And they've been able to find a way to get better day by day, the Terriers have, going into their conference slate. And so now they've got to try and find a way again here. These are the players that are no longer with the program that were, you know, huge players for this team. You look at Johnston, Durant, Pina as well, Sheehan. This has been a heck of a lot to replace, and you know, so far their early returns have been fantastic for Melissa Graves' group.
But right now down by 2 with 32.5 seconds remaining in overtime. Benaventine to trigger it in for the Terriers. Comes to Giannaros. Giannaros gets open, pull up, that's down, and we're tied at 80.
Well, she tied it at 71. Reason that we went to overtime. See if that's the reason we have 5 more minutes, or can Northeastern get a late bucket?
Shot clock turned off. Motema attacks, spills out. Parker the offensive rebound. Out to Orlai Kiefer, who's called for a travel.
Just took that extra step to gather as she faked. Look at the shot on the other end, though, by Giannaros. Just breaks free from Kelly's and Erdwan. And another clutch jumper for the junior from Brockton. And now a chance for BU to win it. They've got 10 more seconds than they did at the end of regulation when they were in this situation.
Benaventine handling the rock. 7 seconds remaining. Clock continues to dwindle. Benaventine, left wing, Semenova, three-pointer, that's good! BU takes the lead with 1 second remaining.
third huge three-pointer from Anastasia Semenova late in this game. And this time with just 1 second to spare. Career high 18 points for the St. Petersburg Russia native. She has really grown up over the last few games. She had 28 points the last 2 games after she had 36 points all year. And now she adds 18 more points, and none bigger than this three.
And she did it with a hand in her face, too. Orlai Kiefer was able to hustle toward her, and that's just a big-time shot. And her whole team fired up in what has been an emotional game here at the Cabot Center. And Semenova, the Russian native, knocks down the three. Her first career basket with the Terriers last year, made against Northeastern, and maybe her biggest of her BU career in this one here against Northeastern again.
You know, she got her first start of the season against Emmanuel, and you have a big game against a Division III school. You don't want to count it as too much, but then you follow it up with your second start, and you do it here against Northeastern. You score 18 points, hit some huge three-pointers here down the stretch, and boy, it's going to be really tough for Melissa Graves to take Semenova out of the starting lineup here moving forward. She said she's had a really fluid lineup here to begin the season as they figure out the best combination for that particular opponent, but boy, as I said, it's going to be quite difficult to find a reason to not put her in the starting and finishing 5 here moving forward when Patriot League action gets going against Navy.
Yeah, today her second career start. BU has utilized 6 different starting lineups, and in talking with Coach Graves, she said the starting lineups most times based off different matchups. But right now they have the lead 83-80, 1.3 seconds remaining here in overtime. Maddie Visa not on the floor here for Northeastern. It comes to Erdogan. Erdogan lets it fly. It's short, and that'll do it. Boston University escapes with an 83-80 victory over Northeastern in overtime.
Well, that's the player that Northeastern wanted to take that last shot, but Erdogan had to rush it. Really good ball denial defense played to make sure that Erdogan did not get it in a comfortable spot in the end. But in the end here, BU just makes one more shot than Northeastern in what was a fantastic game between these two longtime rivals. You know, we mentioned that Northeastern had owned the series as of late, winning 8 of the last 10. They had a 1-point win on the road last year to open the season, and the BU gets its revenge, continues a very strong non-conference slate, finishes out the non-conference with really a great confidence builder against a Husky squad that loses for the 5th consecutive game, but a much better effort today for the Huskies.
And these two Boston-based schools, you figure, will make a lot of headway in their respective conferences after both of them won at least a share of the regular season title a year ago. But what a fantastic game we got to see here at the Cabot Center between Boston University and Northeastern. 83-80 the final, with BU taking it over the Huskies as we take a look at the post-game stats between these two clubs. And for BU, they end up shooting over 50%, 31 for 60 shooting, as Northeastern 30 for 70 shooting in this contest. But it came all the way down to an overtime period and the last chance for Northeastern. But it's BU who pulls it out 83-80, and it was Anastasia Semenova who knocked down the big bucket in the last seconds of overtime to pull out the victory for the Terriers. I want to thank our entire production crew for fantastic work, headed up by Ryan Sheehan and Connor McLaughlin, and also our on-air crew as well, our sideline reporter Adam Giardino and Alex Vespoli. I'm Joe Weil, giving you the final one final time. Boston University 83, Northeastern 80 in overtime. Have a happy holidays and a Merry Christmas. Goodbye here from Boston, Massachusetts.